Hi, I'm Laura Rolfe, certified franchise consultant and host of the Powered by Franchising podcast. I am delighted and thrilled to welcome to the show Alicia Visconti. She is the CEO and president of FranServe, the world's largest franchise consulting and broker organization. Also CEO and president of Franchise Dictionary magazine and new author of the Pink Tsunami, Women's Rise in Franchising, out this summer. Welcome, Alicia.
Well, hello there, Laura, and thank you for having me on your show. Very exciting.
Well, I have had a lot of respect for you from the first time we chatted almost 4 years ago. I was looking at consulting as a business opportunity for myself. You obviously are a female powerhouse in the franchise world. We'll get to that in a minute. But how did you get into franchising? Talk about your journey.
My journey is a pretty unusual one in the sense that when I came into franchising, the only thing I knew about it was how to spell the word. So that was about 10 years ago, and I never owned a franchise before that. I never even worked at a franchise like the way most kids do, teenagers do. They start a lot there. So my journey was always as a CEO and president of different companies, and I was involved with helping executives in corporate America. And then I just started to see a lot of things happen in corporate America, like women coming back from maternity leave and pretty much being invisible, lots of age discrimination, things like that. So I took the company and said, we got to find something else. I had about 200 people working for me and said, we got to help these people in a different direction. So I did what a lot of people did. I went to the almighty Google, put in a few words, and eventually something called franchise consulting came up. And I was like, what the heck is that? And that's how the journey started. And it's been 10 years, and I'm never going to look back.
Well, and you own the company. You saw such a good opportunity with franchise consulting, and you wanted to invest in other people and also change lives through business ownership. So you've done a lot of things over the last few years. In particular, I want to highlight FranServe is the fastest growing company in America in 2024. You've been honored as a top woman in franchising in 2024. You're cited as a top 100 franchise influencer the last 4 years. You were named the top women leader in New Jersey, a top franchise voice on LinkedIn, and on and on and on. You are an incredible powerhouse, and I look up to you, Alicia, and all that you've done. You are a leader in the International Franchise Association. So I want to pause there for a minute and talk about your role in responsible franchising and how you're looking to further impact how franchising as an industry is supporting consultants, brands, as well as future franchise owners.
Yeah, and thank you for that intro, Laura. That's sometimes when I hear that, I want to turn around and see who you're talking about, right? Because it's been such a delightful journey. And what do they say? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I honestly feel that way. Franchising to me is a godsend to a lot of people because most people, not everyone, but most people want to own their own destiny, own their own business. They're excited about it, but it's an unusual journey for many. They don't know where to go. They become overwhelmed. So franchising to me is a great, great step in helping people to become business owners. And so that's why, yes, I was a franchise consultant with FranServe for, I don't know, about 2 years, 18 months, 2 years. And then the founder retired and I had the opportunity to acquire the business. And I think it took me about 2 seconds to decide to do that, right? There was really nothing to think about. But I really do feel that franchising is pretty much in its teenage years, right? It's been around for over 30 years, but we're really coming into, I'd say, our teenage years. And what I mean by that is there were times, years ago where you needed a lot of money, a big footprint. It was mostly just big food. and big staff. And, that just really excluded a lot of people. But franchising as a business model has changed. Much smaller footprint, much more affordable, can sometimes work out of the home or a very small office. And it really does create generational wealth. So now franchising and that opportunity becomes available to, I'm going to say, your average Joe and your average Jill. And that is what I find exciting. When the person next door can become a business owner and create generational wealth, that is incredibly exciting. And when my consultants can change their lives by changing other people's lives and they can have generational wealth, well, then it's the old adage of, doing well by doing good. And I live by that. So for me, franchising's got a check in every column. It really does.
Yes, absolutely. So you're also very active. You sit, I believe, on the a Vet Fran committee with the IFA Diversity Board, like Legal Legislative Committee, and Supplier Advisory Board, as well as the membership committee with the IFA. And you recently also started the Franchise Broker Coalition. What are you most excited about with the future of franchising, Alicia?
I think there's wonderful opportunities across the board. I do think that franchising is becoming more transparent. And that is the movement with responsible franchising. It's been around for years and years, but there are younger generations, new way of thinking, changes in the environment, changes in the landscape that people want to know more. They want to see more. They want things more transparent. And I have to laugh when I was first asked about that because I'm a Jersey girl and I've been transparent my whole life. So now I get to say I'm in vogue, right? Because we're always like, what you see is what you get in Jersey. But so now I get to say I'm fashionable and I'm in vogue. But I do think that's what's going to happen. The public is going to get to feel more comfortable with franchising. They're going to learn truly that it is small business ownership. So many people, hear the big numbers and hear the big names and think that franchising is big business. And it's not. It's your cousin Susie who owns a unit in a local community. It's small business ownership. And I think that's going to come to light more and more. And I'll just say it's about time.
Well, it's interesting. I've been in franchising my whole life and I didn't know it. When I was looking at FranServe and becoming a consultant, I was having a conversation with my dad and he said, you know that Coors of Tacoma was a franchise, Laura. We used to own Coors of Tacoma many, many, many moons ago. And I said, well, I thought it was a distributorship. He's like, yeah, that's one and the same thing, Laura. You follow certain guidelines, certain rules, and you have the support of the franchisor, in this case, Coors distributorship, to support you. It was a learning opportunity. And so I get to educate my clients about that as well. I have a cousin who was an Alpha Graphics owner for years. A dear friend of mine owns multiple units with Massage Envy. So, I came into this not knowing what a franchise consultant was. You helped educate me at the onset, along with other members of the FranServe team. And I feel like now I'm really part of that franchise community and can help educate our audience members on what it's like to invest in a business and the impact it can have on your life. I know the positive impact that my parents as business owners, that flexibility that they were able to attend my performances at my local school and go on long vacations because of that autonomy and flexibility of being CEO of their own company, but having the support of the franchisor. So that was really, really special to me.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people even realize that they're already involved in franchising based on if you have your pet groomed or your lawn taken care of or your windows washed or all of those community businesses, many, many, many of them are franchises. And people don't honestly know that. They just, know that they're going to go get their hair cut or going to go take their pet to be groomed or any of the other 80 different categories that are in franchising. So I think it's coming of age and that people understand that there is so much flexibility in franchising, and it really does celebrate what I call life-work balance. I am not a believer in work-life balance. I never think work should come first. I don't think anybody is on their deathbed saying, gee, I wish I just put in a few more hours at work, right? We all want to make sure that we have all of the time with our friends and family and live our lives to its fullest. So franchising and ownership like that gives you that possibility and typically will mitigate risk. Where if you just open a business on your own, you have to do everything. You have to think of everything. And believe me, I did that road. And had I known about franchising, I probably would have done it very differently, got into franchising sooner. I think, Laura, I think you're going to agree with this. The thing we hear the most, gee, I wish I had done this sooner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so fun for me to, like, on the right road, drive up to Scottsdale from Chandler today. I saw at least 8 different vehicles of franchises we represent. So that was really, really fun. It always is fun. I see them, those franchises in my community making an impact in sponsoring sporting events for their kids or driving down the road on the way to an appointment to impact somebody's life. A lot of service industries. And then when I go to a retail shopping center, I'm like, well, that's one of the franchises I represent. Let me go in and talk to that franchisee and see if they're available or if I can make an appointment with them so I can learn more about why did they decide on a particular business. And then I can talk to future clients about that particular opportunity and see if that might align with them. But it's always great for me to hear people's backgrounds, their stories, how business is now, what they love about that, what they might wish to share with future owners of that particular brand. So I'm always trying to educate myself in franchising.
Well, and we call it the Fran fam, right? The franchise family. And I think that's so accurate because it is a community unto itself. It is a little bit, I'll just say, addictive and obsessiveness, right? Because it's exciting. I say your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So there's a mindset that likes business, that likes innovation. My husband teases me. I'm going to say teases me. That like when we're driving somewhere, just like you said, we can be in the car going to dinner and I'll be like, oh, look, we have that brand, or wait, pull over. I want to see what that brand's about, and he'll be like, can we just go to dinner, right? But he gets it now. And it is like that. It draws you in. It's enticing. It's creative people. It's never mind think out of the box. We don't even recognize the box, right? I always say entrepreneurship, we jump off the cliff and build our plane on the way down because the world changes so much, and we see that between COVID and all the things that happened, over the last few years. I mean, with all due respect to corporate America, they're still trying to figure out: do I bring people into the office? Do I let them work from home? Do I? And we're like, are you kidding? That was 4 years ago. Like, we're way beyond that. We're way beyond that. So I love the mindset of people who are involved in franchising, very creative, dynamic people. And I love business, so I find it exciting. There's always businesses that pop up, and I think to myself, gee, that's brilliant. Why didn't anybody think of that before?
Yes.
So there's never a same day that happens in the life of franchising. Do you agree, Laura?
Oh, absolutely. I spoke with a woman yesterday who has a roofing company, and you're like, well, there's a lot of roofing franchises out there. Well, that's true. But her roofing company has some differentiators about recycling the roof products and giving back to the community and making an impact on our community. And they want to replicate that across the country. So, that I don't have those conversations every day, but it's always exciting to talk to somebody who's done the heavy lifting of building a business. And it's something that is new and exciting for some new other owner to replicate in another market. Or I do a lot in the E2 visa space. And in the course of the last 2 days, I think I've talked to 5 different people about business ownership in the U.S. as an American dream through that E2 visa and franchising. So it's always new and exciting. And then you had to go back a minute to getting up with the times with corporate America. A lot of people are being forced back into the office after working from home for the last 4 years. Companies are leaning into AI. I was at a retail shop last night purchasing something, and everything was automated. I didn't, there was somebody there watching me check out, but I didn't have a person to interact with to check out on my own, and I had a problem. So people are being phased out of corporate America and corporate jobs. And I think there's never been a more exciting opportunity to take a hold of your financial future, build that generational wealth through franchising and business ownership. So definitely seen an uptick in interest and in people reevaluating their lives to put their life before their work.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I will tell you, it is one of the reasons why I did write the book that I did write, right? So in terms of the Pink Tsunami, and it's a celebration of women who are in franchising and telling of their success stories, talking about mine. But it also encourages women to look at franchising as an alternative to working in corporate America. Not every single woman wants to be a business owner. I mean, there's a definite chapter on that and there's definite information on that, but there's plenty of books out there about how to own a franchise or even how to be a successful franchisee. But I wanted to show that pretty much all roads lead to franchising, meaning there are many, many other opportunities rather than trying to work in corporate America where the pay discrimination is still very, very abundant between male and female. In franchising, you don't see that. So instead of just thinking, well, I don't want to own a franchise and I don't want to be a franchise consultant, that's not the path for me. So franchising is not anything I'm going to look at. There's many opportunities, whether it's working for a franchisor, working for a franchisee, even a supplier, right? We have franchise attorneys, real estate people, technology, all in the avenue, if you will, of franchising. They don't own a franchise, they're not a franchisor, they're not a franchisee, but they're part of the community and part of the franchise family. And that's part of what this book's reach is, to think about franchising as an opportunity for your future, because women typically don't get treated very well in corporate America. And franchising opens a lot of different doors for them. So that is why I literally woke up one day and said, I'm going to write this book and I know exactly what it's going to say. And that's what I started to do. And there you have a very short period of time to turn it around.
Yes, well, that was going to be our next topic is what inspired you to write The Pink Tsunami, A Women's Rise in Franchising. So thank you for that. Excited to read your book. It's literally, I think, right hot off the press. You're going to start handing them out soon. You have different chapters addressing different topics. Can you give us a little bit of a preview or a teaser to what we'll find when we read your book?
Absolutely. So what happened was we're having a convention right in less than 2 weeks. So the book's not done. Apparently, I can write a lot more than I need to. So we're still editing it. But I wanted to have something for the convention. So we have a preview, a special edition, which has some things in it that the book won't. So there's a little extra special with this preview, and then the book will be available late summer. But yes, I wanted to help women explore franchising as an entity, not just as business owner. That's first and foremost. That's what most people think of, and it's a great path. But as we know, I know that as a franchise consultant, I'm sure you do too, Laura, not every person we spoke to was ideal as a franchise owner. Sometimes it's just they don't want to follow the system, or, there's a different reason, right? There's something. But that doesn't mean that franchising is not an opportunity for them. There's many paths. And as I just mentioned, everything from being a franchise owner to being a franchise consultant to being a supplier to working for a franchisor or franchisee, there's many, many paths. And I think if women stopped for 1 minute and said, let me explore what opportunities are there in franchising, you'll get hooked like we did, because it's very equalizing, doesn't discriminate, it's very embracing. Women are a natural fit in franchising. We have great communication skills. We love to build relationships. And the men have done a great job, but it's time to equalize those numbers. And it's been very much a male dominated category. And there's many, many opportunities that women will help to offset that and benefit. And what's really interesting about the book is I have many men who are that we've interviewed and quote about how much better it is since women are involved. And that can be as a brand, as a supplier, as a franchisee, across the board. So the men see it. So ladies, think about where your future might lie. It might not be where you think it's going to be.
Yeah, so 32% of the franchise community is made up of women, and that number continues to grow all the time. I'm speaking with more female entrepreneurs interested in franchising. Also, a lot of the franchise development people are women, and they're just amazing. The men are too, amazing to work with. And then some of our suppliers and funders are female-led organizations. Who are a couple of the women in franchising that inspire you, Alicia?
Well, it's very interesting because, I'm a businesswoman, but I'm also, I love science fiction and science fantasy. So I've always liked the Wonder Womans and the Supergirls and all that kind of stuff. And I joke every now and then that I'm, channeling my inner superhero. Mm-hmm. But for me, there are people like Catherine Munson. She actually did the foreword for my book. She is the CEO and president of Propel Brands. Catherine and my background are very similar, came from an abusive alcoholic family, and both of us made the decision that we weren't going to accept that and we were going to be successful. And I did not know that until after being involved with Catherine on a business level, that our backgrounds were so similar. So Catherine Munson is certainly a big influence for me, role model for me. I would say also Mary Thompson. She's amazing. She spent 18 years with Neighborly. Again, she comes from the military as well. She served in the military. Amazing, amazing woman. So there's a number of them, but people who really kick the door open, their superhero capes are invisible. Those are women that I love to watch and emulate. So those are the ones that I hope I pass that torch to others as they come through the franchising portal.
Well, franchising is your superpower.
You
even
go.
trademarked that, Alicia.
I had that one trademark. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what's next for you, Alicia?
Well, we're celebrating right now. Inc. magazine named us one of the fastest growing companies in America. That is a huge honor, not just for me, but for my team. As much as I love being the CEO of FranServe, nothing that this company does would ever be achieved without the FranServe executive team, our consultants, our brands, our suppliers. They're really, as a whole, what I consider the FranServe family, and the reason why we got named that. So that's a huge celebration for us. It is lots of documentation has to be submitted for that. It's done a lot on financials and actual growth. It's not, no one can vote for you, or it's not a popularity thing. It's real hardcore numbers. So we're amazingly proud of that. So that's a little bit that we're celebrating. Of course, the book coming out, but really, I think what we're doing is this is going to be a banner year for FranServe and changing people's lives, helping people become franchise owners, and hopefully with the book, more women seeing other opportunities to rise up in franchising. So for me, I always joke that yesterday's home runs don't win today's game. So I have my sights on, oh, I don't know, franchising Mars maybe, or something out in that universe. But I will tell you, I always have things up my sleeve.
Get your spaceship ready, Alicia.
Absolutely, just buckle in.
I know. I think you are going to be the first to franchise Mars. I love your motto: work hard, play hard, help others, repeat. And you are definitely you. That is you, embodies you as a person, your philosophy. We, as consultants, you've created a wonderful franchise family of consultants, suppliers, supporters, franchise development people. And we all work hard. We like to play hard, and looking forward to playing hard with you in a couple of weeks in Orlando.
That is right. Disney World, here we come. Get your ears on.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience today, Alicia?
I will. I will say one word of encouragement, final words, if you will, for the women who want to move forward, who get excited, and then like that little fear kicks up. That happens to all of us. So everybody looks at me and says, "Oh, you don't feel fear, and you're always moving forward, and you're taking chances." Of course, I feel fear. I'm a human being, but that doesn't mean you have to give into it. And the definition of courage is not the lack of fear, it's having the fear and moving forward anyway. So what I would say to all of you women who are thinking about, do I want to move forward? Do I want to explore things? Absolutely. Get your superhero cape on. And when that fear comes up, just toss it aside like the gnat that it is.
Yes, well, and fear is part of human nature. It's always going to creep up in anything we do. When I first started my consulting business, of course I had fear. And talking to other people to address what the opportunity was, rather than stew in what could be, or the fears that little gnat on my shoulder, I leaned in and was all in. And there's been some bumps in the road. That's the nature of business. But I have never looked back with anything but just inspiration. And I'm super excited about what the future holds for franchising, for myself, and for FranServe as an organization. So
100%. And I appreciate your support, Laura, and all that you do as well. And you're every day changing people's lives as well. So kudos to you, girlfriend.
well, thanks again for being on the Powered by Franchising podcast. I look forward to seeing you in less than 2 weeks, Alicia.
Thank you. And I have to say it, have a fantastic
Fantastic day. I had to say it with you.